Hi and welcome to another episode of the Recruitment CEO's Insider Guide. My name's Jane and I'm the head coach at Centered Excellence. And today I am diving right into one of my favorite topics. And we're going to be talking today about how to attract and secure clients. 3 proven tactics for recruitment businesses. Now, if we've never met before or you've not heard my Yorkshire tones before, I will give you a very quick background as to why I am talking about this. I've worked in recruitment for a long time. I worked through COVID, I've worked through recessions. Put simply, I'm just old. So I've worked through boom markets and I've worked through bust markets. And I know how important it is to be able to attract the right kind of clients fast when you need them the most, whilst also setting yourself up through the long term. Because let's face it, in recruitment, we're all really comfortable with this roller coaster of good month, bad month, great year, terrible year. So much so that we've coined the phrase as recruiters, it's just the roller coaster that is recruitment. I don't like roller coasters. I don't want to be on a roller coaster. Actually, I'm lying. I do. I love roller coasters. I love them for approximately the 60 seconds that they last. I don't want that to be my career. So what we're going to talk about today is basically how we can get some new clients quickly, but also how we can sustain them so we don't find ourselves back in this circular motion again. So why are we talking about this? So for many recruitment business owners, it becomes a real cash flow crunch when clients dry up, when those roles we were banking on coming in don't appear, when some of our long-term high-value clients stop recruiting or have a recruitment freeze or bring in an internal recruiter. So instantly for a business owner, that can become a really challenging time. And I empathise with that and I hear that. So what I'd like to talk about today is how we can give you 3 actionable hacks that you can use right away. Plus a proven strategy to scale your client acquisition to 7 figures. Stay tuned till the end, so we'll be able to give you an exclusive proven script that's helping teams secure clients faster than ever. It's a script that I've used myself, so I can tell you how effective it can be. And we're going to talk about methods that recruiters aren't using. If I had a pound or a dollar, that every time somebody got a result from using this script, I'd probably be a rich lady. So, first of all, let's just delve into the problem here. So, you're in recruitment, you're a business owner. Because of the nature of contingency recruitment, it's always you're as good as your last month, and we're forecasting revenue that can come in, but also that revenue that can come in is still negating on the candidate starting and getting through their probation. So, when you're in recruitment, there's a real need in terms of cash flow to be able to have your short-term wins and then your long-term strategy. And that's what I want to focus on today, is how to make sure that you've got both of those built into your recruitment business, so you don't get caught in that cash flow struggle. So the 3 areas that I am going to talk about today is I'm going to talk, and these are going to, just to be really clear, you're going to go, we know these, but are you doing them effectively? Would be my question. So recruitment is also described as it's not rocket science. However, I would argue that while some techniques are very simple, and I'm a huge fan of simple, they've got to be done in the right way, and they've got to be done repetitious, and they have to be done to a certain flavour, to a certain skill, and then we'll get the results. So we're going to look at 3 different tactics. So let's start with the first one. Beautifully simple. Referrals. So what do I mean by a referral? So I don't really like cold calling. In fact, when I say I don't really like, I genuinely rather lay down on the floor in my office and have a herd of elephants trample over me than actually pick up the phone and do a cold call. Now, let me tell you what I mean by a cold call. So for me, and I'll use the good old-fashioned signal for the phone here. For me, a cold call is when you ring somebody that you don't know, that you've never spoken to, that hasn't necessarily invited the call, and you ring them to ask if you can help them. So I'll give you an example. So Recruiter Jane? Ring, 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 ring. Oh, good afternoon. My name's Jane. I'm calling from Centred Excellence. The reason for the call today is I understand that you're looking to hire a marketing manager, and I'm here to say that potentially I could help you with that. So tell me, what is it you're looking for? I don't want to do that. In all honesty, it's not my bag. It's not my way of selling. However, what I do like to do is call people that I don't necessarily know because I've been referred to do so. Or because one of my clients has already referred me without me actually having to pick up the phone and they call me. So let me talk you through how this works in principle. I am currently working with a client. She's fabulous. I've worked with her and known her for a long time. She went to a networking meeting recently, and to stretch this is for coaching. She went to a networking meeting recently. They said, we're looking to grow and scale our business. And she said, you need to speak to Jane Pettit at Centred Excellence. She also dropped me a quick WhatsApp voice note and went, just so you know, expect a call from these guys. I noted her back and went, brilliant, thank you very much. That's amazing. Have you got the contact details? She sent me the contact details. I picked up the phone. Boom. And now, obviously, we have a new client. So let's put that into a recruitment perspective, because I'm going to speak on behalf of the British nation. So I apologise for those of you listening overseas, but certainly for the British nation, we like to hide our light a little bit under a bushel. Like if we're good at something, we just expect the world to come to us. And maybe that can be said of all the other nations that we support. If that's you, if you're like, well, look, I know I'm really good. And maybe the world should know that. They probably don't. Best example I can give at this point is there's a new Mediterranean restaurant opened in my little village. I know it's there. I've seen the signs. And I knew it was coming because I walked past it with my dogs a few times. I haven't been yet. However, I sent a message out in my friend's WhatsApp group that live locally, my mum group, and said, anybody fancy meeting up in a couple of weeks? Let's go for dinner. And they all came back and went, yeah, sounds good. I was like, cool, where do you fancy going? 5 out of 6 said, oh, let's go to that Mediterranean place. It's brilliant. I've been there. It's brand new open. The food's incredible. The staff are unbelievable. I'm like, cool, table booked. We are going. Now, there's 6 of us in that WhatsApp group, and 5 of them just recommended me the same place. Because I said, let's go for dinner. I prompted that conversation. At no point have any of them messaged me and gone, Jane, just so you know, we've just been to the Mediterranean restaurant in the village and it's amazing. You would love it. You should go. Now, they have referred to me, but I had to ask for it. So I'm hoping that makes sense. They've referred to me, but I had to ask for the referral. So when we put this into a recruitment context, you are going to have to ask people to refer you. It's as simple as that. But then you need to put scripts in it, and then we need to do it consistently every time. Now, when we start to think about where can we ask for a referral? And I've noticed in some of the academies that I run, there can be a real resistance to this. And I work on the theory that I give my best self every time. So when I pre-screen a candidate, they get my best self. When I interview a candidate, they get my best self. When I introduce them to a client, they get my best self, and so on and so on and so forth. And if I'm comfortable that they're getting my best self and I'm working at my utmost level, I'm perfectly entitled to ask for a referral. So when I work with recruitment teams, I build in a referral process that is robust. So at the end of the first pre-screen with candidates, I'm going to get really, really specific. So tell me, how's the call been today? I'm going to ask for feedback. Like if it's tosh, tell me it's tosh, I'll get better. But usually and hopefully the feedback is always like, yeah, it's been really cool. It's been great. Cool. And are you understanding of what the next process is? The next process would always be to come and meet me virtually for a face-to-face competency-based interview, to which they would go, yeah, we're going to meet you next Tuesday, 2:00. I'd be like, brilliant. While I've got you, I would like to ask for your help. I'm recruiting for a role. It's not right for you. You're in marketing, this is in sales, or you're on 100k, this is 75. Whatever the differentiator is, I'm recruiting for this role, it's not right for you. However, I'm hopeful that you may know someone in your network who could do this role. Tell me, who would that be? That's the first time I'm going to ask for a referral. The second time I'm going to ask for a referral is when I meet the candidate for a competency interview. And then I'm going to ask for a referral, potentially, to the client side. So if my candidate has worked in my niche that I'm recruiting, they're going to have loads of people that they've worked for that could be potential clients of mine. And I'm going to take the technique of true honesty. So if I'm interviewing candidate, let's call them Jack. So I'm interviewing Jack, and I noticed that Jack a few years ago works for one of my avatar clients. He works for somebody that I'm trying to get in with. I'm going to have a conversation about that with Jack. Jack, tell me about that role. What did you do? How big was the team? Who did you report into? Yes, I know that person. Interestingly enough, I've been trying to work with them for some time. And then I'm going to go through everything. Tell me what you loved about that job. Tell me what the challenges were. What would, and insert the name of the person they reported into, what would they say about you? And I'm going to hold all this information till the end of the interview. Then right at the end of the interview, once I've signed and sealed everything for Jack, once Jack knows what's happening next, I'm going to turn to Jack and say, Jack, while I've got you, you might be able to help me again. You mentioned that you worked for Gary Lineker, first name that came to mind, don't judge me. You worked for Gary Lineker at the company where you used to be. And as I mentioned to you kind of glibly during the interview, they're a company that we have as a target. Would you be open to introducing me to Gary? How would you feel about that? If they say no, I haven't lost anything. If they say yes, boom, got a new client. But I'm being really honest and ethical because I was raised that honest is the best policy, and that's worked really well for me in recruitment. And to be clear, these touch points can be used all the way through the process with clients and candidates. Clients can introduce me to more candidates, and clients can introduce me to more clients. Candidates can introduce me to more candidates, and candidates can introduce me to more clients. This is so successful when done consistently. The challenges are if your ego gets in the way, or your nervousness, or you go, oh, I should really be asking for a referral right now, but I've just lost my nerve. Or my favourite is when you start to create a narrative that's not there. I don't think they'll give me a referral, so I'm not going to ask. How do you know? They didn't give me a referral last time. They might not have known anybody. They're probably going to get really bored of me asking for referrals. Let the candidate be, or the client be, a judge of that. But when you take referrals and you create in your scripts, and anybody that knows me knows that I will tell you to have a script for absolutely everything. When you start to interject where you ask for a referral and how you ask for a referral at key touch points, interview feedback, job vacancy take on, interview feedback, client side, first interview feedback, second interview feedback, placement, first day check-in, end of first week. I mean, I haven't got enough fingers. When you start asking for referrals at each of those touch points, you will notice that your desk will massively grow through referral. And that's your long-term strategy. Your short-term strategy is get out there. Ask people you've worked with to refer you. Do a bit of the hard work. Check out their LinkedIn, see who they're connected to that you want to be connected to, and then pick up the phone and ask them to make that referral. It's all about thinking, what's the outcome I want to get? And then tracking back the action and then building that in as a consistent touch point. And I stress it has to be consistent. There has to be some metrics around it. You have to track that data. So that's one tactic you can use to attract and secure clients fast. Second tactic, either you can call them CV reference checks. I would call them a testimonial reference. So again, what I mean by this is we're going to use our candidate base. Now, I love my candidates. I work hard for my candidates. I get really involved with my candidates. And also they're a fantastic way of me building my desk. Ridiculously so, because every candidate is a potential client or an introducer to a potential client. And every candidate that I interview in niche has probably worked somewhere that I either recruit for or I'm looking to penetrate. So testimonial references is basically a more sophisticated reference checking tool where we work with the candidate to identify who we can go and speak to at a previous employment where they're not now and go and start that relationship with a hiring manager. So how it works is very simple. I assess the candidate I'm going to meet. I look at their CV and think, right, are there any companies that they've worked for that I would like to recruit for, that I think are a good match for our brand? They're in niche, they're an avatar. If that's the case, as I interview the candidate, I'm going to take them on a journey with me. And I'm going to explain that my process as a recruiter is far more sophisticated than most other recruiters. And I go that extra level deeper. I'm also going to tell my clients about this because it's a brilliant sales tool. And it's also a brilliant way to really make strong matches and get the candidate and client match correct. So as I'm going through and interviewing the candidate, I'm going to bring it round to where they've previously worked and say, look, one of the things that we do as an agency, as a business, is we take testimonials on everywhere that you've previously worked. Now, I notice you work at X, Y, and Z. Who can I speak to there? And then I'm going to go and take that testimonial and I'm going to start building rapport. Now, these can be instantaneously super fast ways to win in business if those clients are currently hiring. If not, I am building long-term strategy. This is my door opener. Actual door there. This is how I start to make new relationships. So I mentioned that I don't like cold calling. So I don't like picking up the phone and saying, hi, my name's Jane, I'm a recruiter. God, do you need any help? I don't know if they can help. What I do love to do is ring clients and say, good morning. My name's Jane. Oh God, we've not spoken before. I'm a recruiter. Please do not panic. This is not about recruitment. I'm actually giving you a call. I'm working with Jessie Edwards. I believe you remember Jessie from their time with you between 2017 to 2022. Cool. Jessie has given your name as someone that could potentially vouch for him. Tell me if you've got 10 minutes to have a chat. Simple as that. And then there are obviously tools that we then look at is how we can bridge from being that first testimonial rapport building call into our next stage. And I would call that the client conversion machine, where we build out a set of touch points aimed to take the client from being a testimonial reference all the way through to a paid billing client. In the 2008 recession, this was my fastest way of building a desk. 2008 came, I didn't have any desire to pick up the phone and do a multitude of cold calls, which is how I built my recruitment career. Big fist bump for anybody else that remembers the days when we had to make 100 dials. But what I did do in 2008 is I created a network of candidates who worked for avatar clients, and I took references, and then I built a brand new desk. So living proof that's a cracking technique. Okay, strategy number 3. The magic message. This is probably the fastest way to winning business. So we've talked about referrals, the short and long-term strategy in there. We've talked about testimonial references and CV reference checks. There are long and short-term strategy there. Magic message is a fabulous short-term strategy. We have had so many successes at Centered Excellence implementing this with our clients. I have one client at the moment who I've been working with for about 2 months, and actually I was reading her email just before I came on to record this, and the words were, Jane, I'm so excited to see you. I'm knee deep in the magic message and I can't tell you how many meetings that I've got. Amazing! So, what is it? Magic message is a message that we send out to people in our fan club. Now, when I ran this activity, when I launched a new business, my fan club was about 725 people. Some people have fan clubs of 10 or 15. It doesn't matter, the process is the same. How it works is very similar to the referral side. It's about wakening up your network. It's about talking to people that possibly you should have kept in touch with, but for whatever reason, sometimes life gets in the way. You didn't. And it works because on the basis that you did a great job for those people at the time, your legacy will live on and those people will come back to you. So this is all about waking up people who we have worked with before, sending them a very simple message, and then following up. And then the long-term strategy of the magic message is that we never, ever let them out of our sights again. So we create an account management system, which again is all about touch points, managing those touch points and being consistent day in, day out. See, we started off this podcast saying how recruitment's a roller coaster, and now I've just flatlined it to not to not being that exciting. I'm so sorry. But my biggest successes as a recruiter was when I just flatlined and did everything the same consistently, day in, day out. I followed up when I said I should follow up. I got back to people when I said I should get back to people. I built an trackable plan to be able to track both my new and existing contacts. Let's talk about the long-term plan and how we can shift to scale. I've talked you through techniques, and hopefully I've given you a flavour of how you can use these in both a short-term and a long-term strategy, because quick fixes really are only half the battle. These hacks that we've shared will get you some immediate results, but building a £1 million plus business is going to take more than quick wins. I mentioned briefly about account management and the magic message and consistency. We often say the line, consistency trumps intensity. You need a client attraction machine in your business if you feel you're on this roller coaster. What you need is a repeatable system using your team and processes. And again, I've alluded to that today. The key for success here lies in the action taking. So let me give you a quick example before I finish up for the day. So I worked with a fabulous client called Tom. Tom worked in medical, and we built in a client attraction machine, which for Tom's business was really bespoke. We would take a candidate to market using video to introduce. We would then have a series of touch points that involved our follow-up process, which could be done by Tom, and actually in some cases it could be done by an outsourced entity, or automation. Actually, with Tom we went with outsourced automation. What would then happen is that we had a trackable system that kept going and going and going and going and going on the basis that we just kept feeding it more clients and more candidates. The system could work almost independently of Tom, which then meant that Tom could wait for the leads to come in, follow up, go and do his best work as a recruiter, and also allowed Tom, in year one, he doubled his business, and then in year two, he doubled it again. All through new business, all using a solid, ultimate client attraction machine. So, hopefully this episode has given you a bit of a fire, because I'm guessing most of you probably know some of these techniques, but you also know that you're not implementing them consistently. But, if it has inspired you, then go take some action. If you head to the link below, you'll be able to grab our exclusive CV reference check script that I used back in 2008. It has been elevated since then, but it works. So, hey, if it works, let's go with it. If you want to go deeper, you can get training on our ultimate client attraction machine. You can learn how to double your results in 6 months or less. Just simply get in touch with us and we will tell you how to do that. But thank you very much if you've made it to the end. I really, really hope it helps. Pop any comments in the box below. I'll catch up with you soon.